Hi everybody, welcome to episode 5 of the build. In today's episode I cover the rebuild of the brakes, the finishing off of the steering, and the strip down and getting ready for paint, and the removal of the convertible top. So now on with the video. Okay, we got our brakes, so I'm going to show you the front ones here. Okay, I've just put on the bracket there anyway, just to get that out of the way. Now what I've done here is I've painted the outside of the disc and put a coat of lacquer on it, because even though when a disc is when a disc is new and it looks lovely and all of that, the flat surface is always going to stay shiny, obviously, because the pad is wearing up against it. But sometimes when you're looking through the wheel, you'll see the surface rust or a rusty kind of colour, and I just didn't want that. So very easy to do it now. Put a couple of coats of paint on it, a couple of coats of lacquer just to hold it in there. For anyone that is or has done this before, the reason why you would put on the lacquer is to protect it, because if you were washing the car with alloy wheel cleaner and using alloy wheel cleaner on it and there was no lacquer on the paint, it does discolour. It does discolour the paint unless the lacquer is on there to protect it. Look, it's not going to last as long as, you know, lacquer on a car. This was done with an aerosol can, it wasn't done with a gun, but it will keep it that bit longer. Okay, Mintex brake pads here. Now in the box of brake pads we have obviously an inside and an outside brake pad, but what also we have here is these little clips to go on the back of it, and they just for a nice snug fit. So it's always important to fit these. I know countless people that never look beyond what's in the box, only the pads, and leave these things off, and then the car goes on the road and the brake pad is rattling around inside it and they wonder what they've done wrong, or it's the brake pad's fault. But it's not. It's because they didn't use everything that was in the box. Okay, so that's your outside pad facing here. Okay, and the inside pad has got the claw on it. This is going to go into the piston on the caliper. So we'll just put this on now and see which way it likes to go on. Does it like to go on that way? It's probably like to go on a bit fiddly. Okay, and I see that one's actually bent. So we're going to straighten that one now. Hopefully get it into the line that it was in. And try again. And put that up there, and click it on over the top, and that is now nice and snug. I just want to get that one tap of a hammer just on that. Okay, so nice snug fit. So this is going to go in here into the piston. Okay, so just making sure. Be careful when you're putting in these as well, because the claws can damage the dust cover on the piston as well if you're not looking what you're doing. Obviously now we want to put on the outside one. The outside one just slips straight in here. Now, in this case, I would normally, I don't have it, I thought I had it, but I don't. I would put a small bit of copper grease just on the back of it here, and you can put little bits on the corner as well. What that does is, copper grease is fantastic, because what it does is it actually stops brakes squeaking, and we hopefully get away with it on this, but if not anyway, it's not a major issue. So you can see the pad goes on over it. And we've our sliders here, which I cleaned up. You know, I gave those a rub with a wire brush to make sure that they're nice and smooth again, because they sit in the rubber here and they do tend to build up shit over the years. So I'm just going to turn this out. So it's important to make sure that they're all nice and clean. Let me get this in here now and put it into place. Make sure get it threading. If you're screwing these things in and the threads become exceptionally tight, something's wrong. And never fully put in one and then tighten it and then go down to the bottom. It's very important to put in both of them equally, so that you don't cross the threads or anything like that. How's that going in? It is lovely. Okay, good. So I go back up to the top now again. Tighten that, and I can see where it's going to stop there now. Okay, it's going to stop. Also, another thing that does come with brake pads, sometimes you'll see it, especially back brake pads more so, you'll see new bolts for the calipers come with them if it's a bolt-on caliper like this. Sometimes the Allen key ones come with it. Always use them. If there's new stuff there, for God's sake, put it into it. You know, don't be using the old stuff. Okay, so that is one brake caliper and brake pad fitted. One thing that's missing now is the anti-rattle clip, which I will get. Anti-rattle clip, stop the caliper from rattling. Okay, so you get that in there. Nice and gently get everything lined up. And make sure that this part goes in. There we are. And that's all seated nice and home. And here we go. All important dust covers. This will cover over the back of the caliper where those little pins or those little studs went through to stop any shit going in there, so that when you do put an Allen key on it the next time, you don't end up rounding the threads because you can't get into the stud the full way. So very, very important. So there you have one new set of brakes. I'm just fitting the rear disc here now, okay? And we obviously have got your handbrake shoes here. But one of the things when fitting the disc, you want to make sure that your handbrake shoes are adjusted correctly. So what you want to be doing is you want to put your disc on over it, and you want to feel almost a slight bite from the shoes to get it right. Now once it's all bolted up afterwards, you can then tighten the handbrake from inside. There's two studs on the handbrake lever, and that will take up any slack or any imbalances afterwards. But it's always best practice to try and get just a nice snug fit. Now, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to take the disc off, okay? However, if on this hole here, this is a wheel stud here, BMW is very, very clever how they've done it. You can actually adjust the handbrake without even taking the wheel off. Once you get a long flat screwdriver, you take one wheel stud out, and you can put your long flat screwdriver in here, and you just lever this adjuster here, and you can just lever it out. And we're just going to try that there now, and say another bit. Now I'm just taking it off for demonstration purposes, but you can obviously leave the disc on, and adjusting a handbrake in a BMW is no big deal whatsoever. All you're going to do is, like I say, leave the wheel on even and just take one out. You would want it jacked up because you can over adjust it, and obviously the brake is on and it's going to overheat. You'll be driving down the road and a load of smoke pouring out of your inner drum, and you don't want that. So that is just about right. So like I say, there's more in it. I could adjust it, but I'm going to do the rest now. I'll do the rest inside. That's just about right. So that's one of the things to make sure when you're working on any car, when it's got handbrake, independent handbrake shoes. Just fitting the disc, just make sure that it just has that small bit of friction, and then take up the slack if you can. In the E36 you can take up the slack on the handbrake lever. I couldn't have gone blank there for a second. Handbrake lever afterwards. Right, I'm going to fit the caliper on and brakes on this just like we did in the front. Just put in the flexible brake hoses, but when we were doing the flexible brake hoses, obviously you've got to open them from the steel brake hose that was there first day. But the nut was completely rounded. It was rounded on all of them. So the front one here, then we looked at the pipe a bit more. So we replaced it with a new copper pipe on both sides. And you can see the hoses, new hoses are fitted there now. But a new copper pipe going all the way on both sides now, and going into the ABS pump there. So, brakes, you can't be, you can't be messing around with them really. I'm just going to see, is this the worst one? And this is the shorter one of the two. Yeah, even when I was cleaning it up, it's rough enough looking. Now, in fairness, that is only surface stuff, but look, we've gone this far with it now to be madness not to, and especially if it's going for its NCT. I'm sure somebody working in the test centre would only love to fail you for that. So that's it. We've brakes are pretty much all done now. Just bleed them up, and happy days. Right, last piece of the jigsaw came today, which are these polyurethane bushes. The box came, and there's actually a pair in the box. I didn't know that, or maybe I didn't read the description when I was buying it right, so I ended up buying 2 packets, so I've enough to do 2 cars. But I just want to show you before I put them in what it actually looks like on the wishbone. So on the wishbone, you can actually see this diagram here. So on the wishbone, the back of the wishbone, this slides in with that washer behind it like that. That goes onto the back of the wishbone. and then your polyurethane bush goes in this way and sits in nicely into that there, and all you got to do then is literally bolt it up. And we've one done already, so you can have a look in here, and it's in there, and that is a bushing now for life, because they are a problem area as regards wear, and the spurious bushings, and even the OE bushings are just not up to it. They're just not up to scratch, so they are a must in any E36. So I'm crack on with this one now. Hey guys, okay, we started on the bodywork. As you can see, nice bit of filler work in the door there. It was a small little dent there that you couldn't really access from the inside, so fill that over. A couple of shopping trolley dents here. Same again here in the quarter. And earlier on one of the other videos that I showed you when I was stripping back to see what the arches were like, we found a nasty dent there that somebody never knocked out. So that's knocked out now, and a little skim of filler's gone over it. As you can see, I'm just picking off the door seals here and getting all those off, because you know there's nothing worse than when you respray a car and you can see tape lines or overspray on the rubbers and stuff like that. So it's crucial that everything comes off it. And then once all those rubbers are off it now, the door is then coming off, and so because we're painting in around the doors as well, because I'm painting it Ferrari red, and it is a slight different shade to the Hellrot, the one that's on it. Obviously I want to do in around the doors, but anyway, I think even if I was keeping it the same colour, I'd probably do in around the doors as well, because you can see the difference that it made in the engine bay, and just look, I just don't understand why you wouldn't do in around the doors. Yeah, so what, it takes 5 minutes to take a door off. They're a very easy car to take a door off. I actually took the other one off there a second ago. You've got 2 13s on the top here, 2 13s on the bottom. There's the catch in the middle here to stop the door, the check strap rather, that stops it going back too far. There's just like a cotter pin and that, you knock that out. And your wiring harness, then there's 2 7 studs that you open, and then there's a lovely block connector that you just open, and off it comes. I've often taken doors off cars over the years, and you open this thing here and there's no block connector, and it's just another bunch of wires, and the block connector is either in the car somewhere or buried in the door somewhere, and it's a pain in the ass. So nice easy one to do. Actually, I'll take you around the other side and show you. I've no cameraman today, so that's why I'm balancing the phone. So let's have a look at what the door looks like off. Okay, so this is the block connector here that I'm talking about. Very, very handy, just quick release. Just pull back here and off it comes. Door hinges, like I said, check strap goes in there, and perfect then for in around the door. Probably going to replace these as well. Those rubber seals there, definitely worth doing, especially on a convertible, because I can remember this one did let in a bit of water the last time I drove it in the rain, and my mum was driving it for a few years as well, and she was saying that when you were washing it and stuff like that, there's a bit of water coming there. So going to replace those. Rest of the seals are pretty good enough in around the windows and stuff. Are good. Where's the door gone? The door's over there. I'll just show you on the other door. A gasket. There's a little gasket that goes on over the cover here, and the gasket goes around it, and that's destroyed as well. So I have new ones of those ordered, and all the trim clips as well. I've more than enough of those ordered online last night, and what I must get as well, sort that hinge out as well, is these panels here, the little kick panels. They're just rotten. They were not rotten as in rusted, but they were just awful looking things. You can get you can get nice ones with, like, the M colours, or just even the M badge written on it would be nice on that. So there, a bit of filler work there, just to kind of first coat on it. And what have we got on here filler wise? We got just a first little coat there on the arch, just to tidy it up, and we're going to be flattening that down now, and getting ready for priming. Tape it up, take out the lights, strip it all down. So today's all about the strip down and getting it ready to mask it up and prime it. So is there anything I've covered mechanical wise? No, that's all done, I'd say. So yeah, that's where we are. We've got the yellow bumper outside. Caleb's going to sand that later on. And yeah, so that's it. Full day of stripping. One of the things that was a problem on this car, and I'm sure is a problem on a lot of other E36s as well, it's definitely a problem on any E36s I've owned in the past, is flapping door cards. And you may think it's the clips, and sometimes it can be the clips, but in this case, this time, a lot of the clips were actually okay, and it was actually the plastic framework that's glued to the inside of the door card for a stay was on the door, but the glue had given way, so the actual door card was flapping. So what I've done now on these is I have put on Tiger Seal, and before I glue this I want to make sure that I'm right with it, and I'm going to slot that into place and let this sealer go off. And at least then, when we go to put it back on, it should be nice and tight. And of course, I have new clips there, so that will be good. This is a particular pain in the ass, this one, because you got to hook this one in first when you're putting on the door card. So we'll just give an extra bit of a seal along the bottom of this as well, and just ensure that it is definitely not going anywhere. Okay. So close down and job done. Right, lots of wiring going on here. As you can see, there is a shitload of it. It's simple enough, it looks way worse than it is. That particular loom there is for the boot door, would you believe? So you've got various different wires there for brake lights and number plate lights and central locking and all that jazz. And to tell the roof, or to let the roof go down, because if the boot isn't closed properly, the roof won't activate if you want to put it down. These then are just backlights and some for the motor for the roof as well. But the alarming thing about all these is they're exposed, and I don't particularly like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make either get some conduit or make a nice wrapping for it out of insulation tape, and just have them a bit tidier looking than that. But we're going to get those out of the way now, because I'm going to be obviously painting inside here. The next job that we're doing is taking off the roof. The roof is coming off because where the roof folds away here, I want to paint that as well, and I don't want to be fooling around with the roof. And I also just want to give it a good clean, because there's a lot of cat hairs on there. So I want to be able to take the roof off now, take it upstairs into the classroom upstairs, open it out, give it a good hoovering and a good brushing, and give it a good cleaning, and have a look as well at the seals on it, and see, I want to see, can I get those seals as well, and so, well, you know, examine them anyway, because they might be alright, but definitely the ones that were coming up along the pillar here, they're fucked, so we'll be getting new ones of those. So there's just a couple of bolts here now to undo, and hopefully it looks simple enough anyway to take the roof out. Not a massive ordeal. So 3 or 4 bolts, a couple of connecting rods there onto the back of the motor, bit of wiring, and should lift straight off. So we'll see how it goes. One very strange looking car with no roof. It's really heavy. It's surprisingly heavy. Caleb and myself lifted it off, and I thought that was a fucking real ladybird there for a second. It's not. Whatever it is, it seems, I don't know, it's not real anyway. Yeah, so Caleb and myself lifted it off. Fucking heavy. I definitely say, as I lifted it up the stairs on my shoulder, I definitely say it's about 40 or 50 kg. Just heavy when you think it's only a soft top, but I suppose there is a lot of metal framework in it. Okay, so look, this is the area that I'm talking about. You know, that's obviously its original paint there, and beside it here is all dusty. Look, it would clean up absolutely fine, I've no doubt it would, but you know, I just, fuck it, like, as we're gone so far with everything, it would be madness not to paint inside there, as I'm doing with the boot as well. Like, I mean, it's just, you know, no one's going to see it, but look, I know it's going to be done, and we've done everything right so far, so it would be ludicrous to cut corners on that. I just want to show you guys something. There's these shims, they're actually spacers. So you've got these spacers, and obviously they make up whatever that is space wise on one side, and it's to keep the roof in line, and obviously bearing in mind this thing has to be watertight as well. It's funny because the spacers that were in there, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, there's nearly 10 spacers on that side, and there's only 6 on that side, and it's just odd, you know? But anyway, whatever it takes, I suppose, to have it sealed right. And I did say as well, the roof was changed on this before. It has a new roof, so unless that had anything to do with it, I don't know. But anyway, that's my first time ever taking off a convertible roof off a car, so it wasn't actually that bad. To be honest with you, BMWs they're pretty good to work on as a whole, you know. You're not going to be, there's a few things, but like more often than not, it is straightforward enough working on them, providing things don't cross thread, or, you know, bolt shear, or some degenerate has been there before you would mangle something. But anyway, that's it. So we're going to take the we'll go up and show you the roof now. Right, roof off the car, and as you can see, now this is a brand spanking new roof. Well, it was a new roof when the car was parked up last, but it was inside in a shed, and you can see all the hairs on the top of it there. So they're cat hairs, but fabric itself is brand new. But what I do have, and what I might do to it, and I must actually do it to the other convertible, I have the 46 as well, is give it this dye you can paint on, and I'll actually put it on with a small spray gun, mask it all up. So clean it up first, get all the dirt out of it, and then you can spray it. But that just needs a good clean to start with, and take it from there. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that video. As you can see, we're just getting ready for paint, and in the next video it'll be all about the priming and the painting and so on and so forth. So we'll look forward to episode 6. If you liked the video, please be sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button as well, and you'll get a notification when a new video is released. So thanks for watching, guys, and talk to you all on the next one.